How do you keep going when everything in your business is going fine and it's going good? What if you've met your goal, so you're not feeling super motivated to work on your business, or you've gotten really excited about a totally new project? How do you keep your consistency when everything is like already fine? Welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 220 with me, Tara Swiger. Today's question comes from a Starship captain who asked, how do you stay focused on the part of your business that are already going really well when you've got a new project you're excited to work on? I'm going to answer her question in a minute, but before I do, I wanted to tell you that the Starship, which is where this question was asked, is my online community for makers and artists, and it is what makes this podcast possible. You might have noticed I don't take advertisers like most other podcasts do, and I don't spend a lot of this podcast selling my stuff because members join the Starship and stay aboard the Starship because I love it so much. That allows my whole business to function. It allows me to bring you these podcast episodes. So if you want to go even deeper than what these podcast episodes ever can get into, and you want my help in your business, check out the Starship. It is going to open next week, and you can find it at taraswiger.com/starshipbiz. Now, the other thing about the Starship is it basically gives me everything I cover here. If you're ever thinking that it seems like I am in your head talking to you, that is because a Starship captain has asked a similar question. Either it just comes up naturally in conversation in our weekly check-in, or I ask the Starship about once a month, hey, give me podcast topics, which is where this one came from today. So if you want to ask your questions and get them answered, the Starship's going to open next week. It is changed up quite a bit. I'll tell you a little bit more about it next week when it's open. But if you want to be the first to hear about the changes and see what's new and exciting, I'm so excited. I've made it so much better. So it works just so good at transforming your business. You can go to taraswiger.com/starshipbiz, or in the show notes for this episode, if you scroll down, you can sign up to hear about the Starship. So let's get to the question. When everything is great, how do you keep going? So there are going to be 3 things that you're going to do when things are great in order to keep you going on like the basics of your business that need you to give them attention and love. The first thing is to systematize as much as possible. So systemization includes automation, like getting a computer to do it so you don't have to do it by hand. For example, over the years, I've made the Starship so automated that now when you sign up, you automatically get the welcome email. It used to be that I would have to like go in and add a tag and then send it. It was a whole thing. Also, my posts about my blog posts, we've systematized how we add it to SmarterQueue, and then SmarterQueue automates sending it out multiple times to Facebook and Twitter. Now, another part of systematizing is scheduling, having a specific time when you work on specific tasks. Now, this isn't for everyone, and if you've taken my class I did with Creative Live about how to get more done, then you know that like we all kind of fall on a spectrum of whether we want to be super scheduled or not that scheduled. But when you have things in your business that just need to be done every week, having them on the schedule at a specific time or having a specific day of the week that you do them can be really helpful in like not letting them fall behind. So I always record this podcast on a Tuesday, either noon or at 2. I record my podcast with Jolie, Take Care of Yourself with Tara and Jolie, every Tuesday at 1. So I either do this podcast before or after. And when I'm going out of town, like right now when you're listening to this, I'm actually out of town and I'm not online. I just do more episodes on Tuesday, or I do them on Thursday. That way it's scheduled. It always happens. I never schedule anything else. That always makes sure to happen. Now, the other thing with systematizing is outsourcing. So that can be hiring an assistant, a virtual assistant. They're called VAs. I have an episode about 7 steps to hiring your first person. I'll make sure and link that up. But it could also be just outsourcing it to a system, a software, a process. It can be doing something like with a group of your friends, like you maybe do all of their X and they do all of your Y. It can be hiring somebody who's like a general VA, or it can be hiring someone who edits your videos, or just edits your writing to make sure there's not typos in it, or someone who takes your photographs for your products, or somebody who does your shipping. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can outsource this stuff in your business. And actually, we talk about this whole systematizing thing, how you can create systems, how you can look at automation and scheduling and outsourcing in a workbook that I created with my friend Stacy Trock. It's called How to Take a Break Without Breaking Your Business. And in it, we guide you through each step of this to actually get ready for your own break. I have used the worksheets in here again and again to take time off my business. And it's actually available to Starship members after you finish the Starship program. If you choose to join the Starship community, you get access to my library of past classes, which includes Take a Break from Your Business. You can get that when you sign up at the Starship, so go check it out. Now, the second step to continuing to go, even when things are going well, is to decide on your results that you desire and your effective minimum dose. So the question to ask yourself is really, what do you want to accomplish in the area that you're not focusing on? What do you want it to do in the time that you're not working on it? What is the minimum that you want, or like what is the minimum that you need, right? Like, your business might need to make a certain amount of money to break even or to pay you what you need it to pay you. So what is that minimum? What is that? And then what's the effective minimum dose? So in other words, what's the smallest amount that you can do for maximum impact? A lot of us spend a lot of time doing things that have no impact whatsoever on our business. So if you take the time to think about what's actually impacting your business and what isn't, you can get rid of a bunch of stuff. Now, being really clear and decisive about what you're willing to accept from the area of your business that you're not focusing on is really important to your own peace of mind and your acceptance of what's going to happen when you stop focusing on it. So it's fine for every area of your business to not be your main focus at a given time. It's impossible to make every area your main focus. It just won't work. But often when we make those decisions, like, we're feeling good about it, right? I've decided not to focus on this because I'm going to focus on this. But then later we're reviewing the results of not focusing on it and we beat ourselves up. Oh my gosh, that could have been so much better if I would have focused on it. So, or like, those are not the results I wanted. So by identifying the results that you want and what you really need to get out of it, and then being okay with that and boiling your stuff down to the minimum effective dose, you can actually preempt some of those feeling bad about it later feelings. So to identify the minimum effective dose, you're going to have to experiment. What do you do to get those results? Because it's entirely possible you're doing a lot of things you don't need to do to get the exact same results you're already getting. So we're always talking about doing more and adding more, but it can be even more effective to reduce what you're doing and to do less things that have bigger impact. So to do less overall things and just do the things that have the bigger impact. So the awesome news is identifying the results you want and the minimum effective dose that it takes to get those results is super helpful to do ahead of time, because then when you go through a period of life when you can't work much on your business, maybe your kids are home from school, maybe one of your parents is sick and you're taking care of them, maybe you're about to have babies, knowing what it takes for your business to survive at the level it needs to be at can give you so much peace of mind and clarity when you do have to step away from your business for like less fun reasons, or when you just want to go in a new direction and work on a brand new thing. So identifying the results you need to get from the different areas of your business and the minimum effective dose is going to make it easier for you to focus on the new thing you're excited about, and it's also going to set your business up to succeed even when you can't spend all of your time and energy on it. Now, the third step to keep going even when things are going good and you're like, meh, is to get accountability. Even if you've been doing your thing for 4 years or 40 years, if you feel yourself start to slip on the really important things, the impactful things in your business, get some accountability. You can do this casually with a friend, or you can do it more officially inside a group like the Starship, where we have weekly accountability check-ins, or you can hook yourself up with an accountability partner. But get someone who cares that you do what you said you were going to do. So when people aren't doing what they want to do, the easiest solution, the solution that works so much of a percentage of the time I can't even stand it, is to get some accountability. When I can't reach my own goals, when I find myself slipping, I reach out to somebody and say, hey, can you hold me accountable to do X and Y? Now, I'm not an obliger, I'm a questioner, so I have to decide what I'm going to do, and then ask somebody to keep me accountable and I have to have a reason they're keeping me accountable. But even so, it's super helpful to just have somebody to talk to about the thing I'm wanting to do. So I talked more about this in episode 73 about how accountability can help you reach your goals. I also talked about how accountability will make you more productive and how do you get stuff done of episode 122. In that episode, we talk about the 4 tendencies and how you can use accountability to get more done in your business. So if you're struggling to understand that, or you've heard me mention obligers and questioners, you're not sure where to learn more, that's podcast 122, how you get more done. And I want to end this podcast by giving you permission to follow your enthusiasm. So often we have worked really hard on building up the base of our business and it is working and we're excited that it's working. And then we get super excited about a new thing. We're like, oh no, but I've worked so hard for this business. I can't possibly think about that new thing. Like, we don't give ourselves permission to follow our enthusiasm. And what I've learned I've had a business for over 12 years is the more I follow my enthusiasm, the more my business grows, the better I do overall. Instead of trying to make myself stay in the box that I've put myself in, following my enthusiasm gives me more opportunities, more friends, more fun, more profit than if I just kept myself in a box. Now, that doesn't mean you have to start a whole new business just because you're excited about a new project. It doesn't mean it has to totally change your life, but let yourself experiment with it and play with it and see where it leads you. So you have permission to follow your enthusiasm. Make sure that you sign up to learn more about the Starship at the bottom of the show notes at taraswiger.com/podcast220. And thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a very enthusiastic day.